Hello everybody and welcome back to Warrior's Garden. As you can see, I am not in my garden. I'm actually in an office somewhere in the Middle East. Yeah, I'm deployed again. But that's okay. You know, I've got to go do my job. It was unexpected. I thought I was done with these deployments, and if you've looked at my channel for very long, you've seen that it's something I do. It's part of my career. And as hard as it is for me to go and do these things, I do enjoy serving our men and women in arms that do a fantastic job. So with that being said, I was actually going to do this video outside, but I can't really do that. One, it was way too noisy when I tried, and two, it's hard to find a location that I'm allowed to videotape. So with that, here's actually a B-roll, and you can see what I tried to do outside, but with the generators running and everything, just didn't work very well. So here you go.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Warrior's Garden. It's a pleasure to be able to talk to you again, though I'm not in my garden, as you can probably tell. I am deployed, and well, it is what it is. I gotta go do my job. The hard part about this is, well, my garden is not having my attendance, unfortunately. I have landscapers watching over the place, but it's just not the same.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that little clip as I tried to give you a little outside ambiance, but nonetheless, here we are inside in my office where it's a little bit quieter and a little bit safer. So what we're going to do on this episode is I'm going to talk about my dragon fruit. You saw how I trimmed them up after they had root rot. What you haven't seen is how things went afterwards. So to be honest, they went very well. My dragon fruit grew like, I wouldn't say a weed because weeds go very crazy, but they grew well. They came out the top, they began the umbrella look, but then I got deployed, and unfortunately, even though they're being cared for, it's not quite to the standard I would expect, because the people caring for them just don't have the knowledge or the time, and they've tried to do their best, but unfortunately my dragon fruit have paid a little bit of a toll. They're still doing okay, but as you'll see in what I'm about to show you, some of the suffering they've had, and part of it is because we had a very hot summer and we weren't able to give them the shade, mainly because I was gone, that they needed, and also the watering, I couldn't manage it other than remotely using my system that I have through the internet, as well as talking to people. So with that being said, enough rambling, let's go take a look at the dragon fruit.
So here you can see my dragon fruit. This is actually late spring, maybe a little bit earlier spring, and you can see how much my dragon fruit had grown. This is after I had cleaned up the root rot issues that we had. You can see down below all the new growth that came out after I put them back in the ground. I was fairly successful, though I think I may have done a different process. This shows the same thing on the other dragon fruit. I actually have two cuttings there. One was from a dragon fruit I bought at an Asian market that I cut the stem off. It actually rooted but never grew, unfortunately, and the other one grew just fine. But you can see all the growth there. By the time I left on the deployment, they were growing really well out the top. They're fully umbrellaed out. Looked super healthy. This is, actually now I'm thinking about this, is early spring. So here you can see both of my dragon fruit now. This picture was taken for me by my daughter. But one of the things I did before I left, I actually planted a moringa tree that I thought was dead, that I thought the frost had killed. I was wrong. The roots are still good. And so I had planted it that spring in between my two dragon fruit, hoping that it would come out and provide shade. You can see where it has grown quite a bit out of that root that I thought was dead. But it's not quite to the point to provide shade, but it's growing very quickly. That's all just this year's growth from basically roots and a broken stem down at the bottom. And hopefully next year I won't have to worry about putting shade cloth over the top of these dragon fruit, because this moringa tree will hopefully provide it. At least if it keeps growing like it is. So you can see in this picture, I'm looking at just one of the dragon fruit trees, if you want to call it a tree. It's my furthest one. You can see down below that I've got one stem that is completely died off. There's some green at the top, and in the next picture I'm going to show you, you can actually see it's still green towards the top, but I'm afraid this one's out. I mean, I have to rely on these pictures. I can't really see with my own eyes what's going on. But up towards the top, it's still green. So I don't know if it's going to survive and pull out or not. And I don't know if it's a fungus or root rot or what caused this. This next picture, you can see that I have some branches that are completely withered and some that are yellow. They did get quite a bit of sunburn this last summer because there was no shade provided, unfortunately. But some of them look also really healthy and green, so that gives me hope that by the time I return in the spring, I can save them and have great dragon fruit.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me in this episode. I'm glad I could give you an update on the dragon fruit. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do that out here, but with help of my family back home and feeding me some pictures and some updates, I was able to do that. And I hope to give you more content. I actually brought quite a bit of content with me on my personal computer, and I'm hoping with the free time I get that I can generate some more videos. I'll probably do one on my fountains and a few other things so you can see how I put that stuff together. But in the meantime, get out there, do some gardening, enjoy yourself, and